Ayam apa? Oh, saya belum apa-apain, mah. Baru naruh-naruhin situ.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Syaripatunisa, and I will be the master of ceremony in this seminar today. The Honorable Director of School Postgraduate, Professor Dr. Sihabuddin MPD, the Honorable Chairman of ASEAN Journal of Sport for Development and Peace, Professor Dr. Amung Mamun MPD, the Honorable Speaker, Professor Cemtinas from Okan University, Istanbul, Turkey, Dr. Didi Asale, PhD from Edith Cowan University, Australia, Professor Dr. Amung Makmun, MPD, and Dr. Agus Mahendra, MA from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, the Honorable Lecturer of the Sport Education Program, and all participants of this seminar. Welcome to the virtual international seminar Sport for Development and Peace in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all praise and thanks be to Allah Almighty for the abundance of grace and the joy that all of us can gather in this event in a good health. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the event, please allow me to read the schedule for today. The event will begin with the welcoming speech from the Chairman of ASEAN Journal of Sport for Development and Peace, Professor Dr. Amung Makmun, MPD, followed by the welcoming speech from Director of School Postgraduate Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, Professor Dr. Sihabuddin, MPD, and the main session. In the main session, we will have two presentations from two speakers. First presentation would be from Professor Cemtinas from Okan University in Istanbul, Turkey. And the second presentation will be from Dr. Didi Asale, PhD from Edith Cowan University, Australia. Each presentation will last for 50 minutes, including the question and the answer session. Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin the welcoming speech from the Chairman of ASEAN Journal of Sport for Development and Peace, Professor Dr. Amung Mamun, MPD. To Professor Dr. Amung, MPD, the time is yours.
Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here today at Virtual International Seminar Sport for Development and Peace in Indonesia. My name is Amung Makmun. It is such an honor for me to speak behalf of the organizer this seminar. Before we get started, I would like to express my appreciation to the Director, School of Postgraduate, Professor Dr. Sihabuddin MPD, and especially to all keynote speakers, Professor Semtinas from Okan University, Istanbul, Turkey, Dr. Didi Asale, PhD from Edith Cowan University, Australia, Dr. Agus Mahendra, ME from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, and for all participants. In today's seminar, we would learn about sport for development and peace. Currently, sport has become a very important issue in carrying out the UN mission, namely sport for development and peace. The meaning is that sport today are not only for the development of the sport itself, but also as an instrument of development, namely for personal development and the life of the people of a nation, including building peace in it. Hopefully, this seminar can provide a little information and open our mind about the importance of sport in facing global issues in the world. In addition, this seminar was held in order to launch our first journal, namely the ASEAN Journal of Sport for Development and Peace. Hopefully, this journal launch can accommodate researchers touch on sport, especially sport for development and peace. Well, that is all for me. I need to hand over it to Ms. Nisa to start our next agenda in this seminar. Thank you very much for listening. Glad to see your enthusiasm and sincerity, many of you in this virtual international seminar. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Amom. Ladies and gentlemen, next we have the welcoming speech from Director of School Postgraduate, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, Professor Dr. Sihabuddin MPD. Please welcome Professor Dr. Sihabuddin MPD.
Okay, thank you. My sound clear? You can hear my sound?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'du. Thank you to every one of you for being with us here today, even virtually. We are very pleased to be able to welcome a few that have been with us in this virtual international seminar for sport development and peace in Indonesia. Of course, I would like to introduce my name, Sihabuddin. I am Director the Postgraduate School, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Also, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who generously help us make this event come together to become a success, especially for Professor Cemtinas from Okan University, Istanbul, Turkey, Dr. Didi Asale, PhD. Didi, maybe you know Pak Ranbir Malik.
Yes.
He was my guest lecturer in our School of Postgraduate, yeah, Ranbir Malik.
All right, very good.
Okay. She write one book on the research education, yeah. Okay. Dr. Agus Mahendra, MA from Physical Education, Teacher Education for primary, the Indonesian Education University, especially Professor Amu and his excellent college sports education department, School of Postgraduate Studies, and also to all participants, academic and sport practitioners who are present today. As recent situation status, the COVID-19 pandemic is spreading to more countries, territories, and regions of the world, including Indonesia. But that doesn't mean we should stop being physically active, nor should we disconnect from the coaches, teammate, instructor, and fellow fan who not only help us to stay physically fit, but also socially active. As Nelson Mandela said, sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. Generally, sport is a lever for integration or social reintegration in developing countries or in conflict-affected areas. For you especially, sport can be a way of instilling respect for opponent and rule, teamwork, sportsmanship, determination, and discipline. I definitely believe that sport offers many benefits, including individual development, health promotion, and disease prevention, gender equality, social integration, peace building, as become our theme here today about peace building or conflict prevention and resolution, and post disasters or trauma assistance. From a development perspective, the goal is to enhance mass sport. Furthermore, I would like to congratulate the launch of the Asian Journal of Sport for Development and Peace. Hopefully, it will become a platform that can be used by a researcher on sport in Asia and more widely in the world. Well, without waiting any longer, I officially open the virtual international seminar for sport development and peace Indonesia by recite Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you to entire committee, keynote speakers, and all of the participants. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Sihabuddin. Now we have come to the first main season. In the first season, we will have a presentation from Professor Chemtinas about investigating legacy of failed Olympic bids. This season will be guided by Dr. Agus Mahendra MA as the moderator. Dr. Agus Mahendra MA is the head of the PETE for primary school and also the chairman of Active Healthy Kids Indonesia. To Dr. Agus Mahendra, you may guide the session.
Thank you very much, Miss Nisa. Everyone can listen to my voice. I hope everyone can do. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, please allow me to welcome you all to the first session of the virtual international seminars on sport for development and peace in Indonesia. In this session, we will have a speech from distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Chemtinas, PhD from Turkey, entitled Investigating Legacies of Failed Olympic Bids, which was written with other colleagues. Welcome, Prof. Chemtinas. I contacted you several times through email concerning the book chapter written by Prof. Among Mamun.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you very much, distinguished professors. Thank you very much for inviting me to have this presentation. So it's my honor and privilege, and to see that many people also. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before inviting Prof. Tinas to deliver his speech, please allow me to read his curriculum vitae for the brief one. Professor Chem Tinas is pursuing, having his PhD in sport management, and currently he's with Istanbul Bilgi University and acting as Director of School of Sport Science and Technology. And he also serving as a full-time lecturer and head of the school. Courses taught include marketing communication in sport, sport media, event management, and sport sponsorship, bidding, and application of sport event. That's why he also going to speak about the bids to Olympic Games. In 2014, he was a visiting senior lecturer at Sport Business School in Finland. And he served also as a visiting lecturer and taught about 150 courses, 50 courses hour for 3 bachelor and 2 master level courses. All right, without further ado, I would like to invite Prof. Chem Tinas to start the presentation. And concerning the time management, I would like to tell you that you have around 30 minutes to speak, and then we are going to continue to the question and answer session afterward. So, Prof. Tinas, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor. So, as said, it is my privilege to be with you today. So it is going to be my most crowded virtual session. There are more than 220 people, and it's great to see that. So I have offered some options to Professor Mamun about my presentation, and so we decided that investigating the legacies of failed Olympic bids would be very suitable to the topic of the conference. That's why I'm going to take this presentation. So this is a study which I did with 2 of my colleagues. One of them is from the UK and the other one is from the USA. So the original idea actually came on the floor in 2016 in a conference called EASM, European Association of Sport Management Conference. So we thought that, okay, this could be a good idea because all 3 nations had some failed Olympic bids in the past, and Turkish case is a bit different. I'm going to explain it to you later. But we decided that there is one common thing between 3 nations, UK, USA, and Turkey. So let's try to investigate what kind of positive legacies could these bids have created. So, and after having this initiative, we decided to apply to the IOC Advanced Olympic Research Grant Program. And we got a funding of 20,000 euros to run our study. And so our study took something like 6 to 9 months, and in 3 nations, in 3 countries, we did more than 30 in-depth interviews. So we actually analyzed more than 50 different documents, and as a result, we published a comprehensive report. So why we did this and why IOC invested in such an idea? Because maybe some of you know, IOC had some difficulties to attract nations to host Olympic Games. And finally, last year, they have changed the whole regulations actually for the bidding procedure. So the number of nations who were willing to host the Olympic Games have been decreasing during the last couple of years. And lots of nations actually decided not to continue to bid. Although they applied to become a host nation, during the time of bidding, their communities, their people decided that they didn't want to host the games. So that's why they decided to leave. They decided to cancel their bids. So IOC realized this situation. So that's why they needed to find out some positive impacts which bidding can create. This is the main reason why they have invested probably our research. So as said, IOC's ambitions were to promote bidding in the light of high-profile withdrawals and a decreasing number of candidatures. And as a result of that, they wanted us to examine the positive outcomes of unsuccessful Olympic bids. So after we did our study, we had the chance to publish 3 articles. One of them is published on the Journal of Global Sport Management. One of them was published in a Turkish journal. So the third one is still under review in the Journal of Sport Policy and Politics. So it's not published yet, but hopefully we are going to get another article published soon. When we look at the literature, we saw that there is a huge lack of literature which explores the legacies of failed Olympic bids. So there are a lot of studies which are dealing with successful bids, but there were only a limited number of studies who were dealing with failed bids. So we have seen that Lauerman has put some great efforts. So he's one of the prominent people who has published on this aspect. So we started to read his articles to find out what kind of legacies he found in different nations. And then we realized that his studies shows that there are 2 main types of bids. So one type is the legitimate bids, and the other one is utilitarian bids. By legitimate bids, we mean the bids which are not focusing to host the games. So these bids, the legitimate bids, they are focusing to host the games, but utilitarian bids, they are not focusing to host the games. So the main aim of utilitarian bids were to create some positive impacts and develop sport in different aspects. So when we look at the Turkish bids, Turkey bid for 5 times in the past to host the Summer Olympic Games. So we realized that the first 4 of them were utilitarian because the government and the responsibilities, they knew that they are not going to host the games, they are not going to win the bid, but they wanted to pursue this dream. And in the meantime, they wanted to create some positive effects and develop sport through different aspects. But during the last bid, which happened in 2013, where we lost against Tokyo, so it was legitimate. The main aim of the last bid was to host the games. So this was a finding which we have seen. So these were our research questions. So what were the legacies from unsuccessful Olympic Games bids? And we did a comparison between 3 nations. So as you can see, Manchester has applied to host the games twice in 2016 and 20. I mean, for the games 2016 and 20. So Turkey did this 5 times, 2000, 2004, 2008, 12, and 20. And Chicago did it once for hosting the 2016 games. So we had a case study approach, and so we used documentary research. We used the files from the IOC and STIB-based archives. And as said, we did more than 30 in-depth semi-structured interviews. So we did 15 interviews in Manchester, 7 interviews in Istanbul, and 11 interviews in Chicago. And we talked with a variety of people. We talked people who are representing the city council, sport administrators, bid team members, National Olympic Committee members, and also community representatives. So the shortest interview we had took only 13 minutes, but the longest one was 250 minutes. Actually, it was quite long. So we used online platforms, digital platforms like Skype or phone, and we met also with some of those people, and we made those interviews face to face. Okay, and for the analysis, we used Atlas TI, which is a supportive tool, online tool, which enables to have a structured and organized analysis for in-depth interviews. We used open codes. Actually, they were both inductive and deductive. And after we analyzed the study, we analyzed the content, we did an axial coding and looked the relationships between those coded data. And we also did selective coding for the identification of illustrative examples and identified themes. So I'm going to start with the case of Manchester. So what we have seen in Manchester is there was a clear positive impact in terms of hosting capacity. So through the Olympic biddings, they have increased their hosting events. For example, one of sporting events and Commonwealth Games. So after bidding for the Olympic Games, they applied for hosting the Commonwealth Games, and actually they did. I mean, so through the information which they've gained through the Olympic bidding and through the increased capacity of Olympic bidding, so they applied hosting the Commonwealth Games, and the result was positive. So they have created and developed some realistic event strategies for the city. So we have seen also some positive impacts in terms of infrastructure. So they used the Olympic bidding as a catalyst for the airport and transportation investments. So we are not saying that that was the only reason and that was the only way how they did it, but we are saying that the Olympic bidding has actually been a catalyst, speed up things in terms of infrastructure development. So another kind of development what we have seen is the policy development. So clearly they have created some city and nation hosting strategies. So we have seen a development and centralization of UK sport event hosting strategy, hosting policy. And also we have seen a development and centralization of elite sport policy. There was a clear proof of professional networking. So this was evident also in other cities. For the first time, some different stakeholders, some different institutions, different people came together and discussed common topics. So, and as a result of that, this has created a network example, an important network for the sport and also for the government. We have seen also some sports-related impacts, some sports-related legacies. There was a development of relationships with international federations, and there was also clear change in government attitude for event hosting and establishment of UK sport. I mean, we are not saying that that was the main tool, that was the main boost, but there was clear relationship between the establishment of UK sport and Olympic bidding of Manchester. So there were also some psychological legacies. There was a development of confidence of the key individuals at public at large. And also there was some legacies which are related with the community, increased civic pride, and there was also some impacts and legacies which were created between the non-profit community organizations. When we come to Istanbul, so that was my case, and I have published an article only related with the case of Istanbul. So infrastructure, again, something similar what we have seen in the UK. It has accelerated the urban development and infrastructure investments. So there was again clearly civic pride, unification of people. For the first time during the last 20 years, maybe all Turkish people came together for the main purpose. Although there were huge differences between the mentalities and identities of people, so people came together and they pursued the same goal. And so there was clear government coordination. So the government was at the top of the system, and they have cooperated between different state or institutions, security, fire department, police, and etc. But the government was at the top of the whole structure. So there was clear legacies related to event hosting capacity, because the Turkish team was established of 120 people. Some of them were Turkish people, but some of them were foreigners. So there was a clear learning process, because these people has worked for 1 year to get the Olympic Games, and they did a lot in terms of sports development and etc. And it has created an increased capacity for the event hosting also. Promotionally, it was a promotional tour for us. The name of Istanbul, the name of Turkey was all over the places. And when we go back 7 years, I mean, during the times of 2012, 2013, I can tell you that these were the golden years for tourism in Turkey. Turkey and Istanbul has been one of the top destinations for global tourism. And we have seen also some relationship between increased international recognition, prestige, and increased tourism investments and the Olympic bidding. And it has created also professional networking opportunities for Turkish people. And sport and non-sport professionals have created networking, both personal and institutional. And as a result of that, actually, we have seen a lot of Turkish people who are representing Turkey in the global sport management stage. And again, that wasn't the only reason why they got those positions, but in between, they have developed good relationships with international federations, with some prominent people, and this has affected their international prominence also. We have seen some good examples where sport has used as an educational tool, especially for the first 4 bids, which were utilitarian. The decision makers wanted to use sport to educate youngsters, so to create a sports culture, to create a spirit of Olympism, and they did a lot of different things for this manner. When we come to Chicago, it was a bit different than the other two. We have seen also some community aspect, community-related legacies. There were some legacies which were related to the environment. There was a local discussion, leadership engagement, carbon footprint, these kind of topics. Of course, Chicago's bid was an actual one, and clearly this bid was supported by Barack Obama, who is originally coming from Chicago. He was the main person behind this bid, and the wife of Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, was also supporting the bid. and they have connected this initiative with a lot of different aspects. We have seen also some good results, some good relationship between the Chicago's bidding and event hosting capacity. They have created the legitimacy, and they have established Chicago Sports Commission, and the commission actually has attempts to host more events. There was some clear personal legacies also in terms of creating for political capital, career advancements. Some people we have talked have advanced their careers. Promotional legacies, same as Istanbul. Social legacies, they have established an institution called World Sport Chicago. They have started to run youth sport programming and increased access for the community. So there was a clear relationship between Sport Network and the Chicago's Olympic bid. And there was clear influences and created relationships. Urban planning was an important aspect what we have seen. There were clear, again, connection between the Olympic bid and city planning and assessments of Chicago's urban plans, identification of different issues, different problems, and also civic engagement was evident. Okay, here you see a table where we put all important themes. When we think about, when we just conclude our study, there was clear legacies of failed bids in those three cities. Some of them were similar, but some of them were different. And this was related to the context. As a result of our study, we defined 14 preliminary thematic categories and failed Olympic legacies. And on the right, you see these. So hosting capacity, infrastructure, policy development, networks, sports-related legacies, psychological legacies, community-related legacies, government coordination, promotional legacies, educational legacies, environment, personal, social legacies, and urban planning. So those are the legacies which we find out as a result of our study. Of course, some of those legacies were related with the city, but some of them were bigger, much bigger. We could relate some of those legacies with the nation. We have seen clear evidence of sport versus non-sport networks, because Olympic bidding is something really big. It's not related only with sports, so you need to have different kind of institutions which are non-sports related. And finally, Olympic Games actual hosting legacies versus bid legacies teams. So, I mean, clearly some of them were only impacts. So it required long-term plans in order to create legacies, turn them legacies which remain in long term. We defined those impacts, we defined those criteria, but actually we don't know yet, because we finished our study only a couple of years ago. We don't know yet if this will remain in long term. This is also one aim we have. We are planning to replicate our study in long term, probably in a couple of years, and to see what kind of these legacies are remaining, and which of them will disappear. So yes, that was my presentation. I can give you more information about Istanbul if you like to hear, because for Istanbul, specifically for Istanbul, I worked a lot, and I have seen a lot of different aspects. So I have seen that using sport as an educational tool for non-sports related related aims was an important aspect. And I have seen that Olympic bidding has boosted the sports infrastructure of Turkey. Within those years, from 2010 until 2011, a lot of government projects were established. So a lot of sport facilities, a lot of sport offerings. And clearly, I am not saying that that was the only reason why all these happened, but there was a clear effect of Olympic bidding, how it has speeded up, I mean, how it has boosted these investments. The urbanization, urban regeneration was something which was evident in the case of Istanbul. Increased hosting capacity was also evident because maybe I can show you this later, but from 2004, 2005 until 2020, Istanbul has hosted more than 20 high-profile international sport events, and there was a clear relationship between those and Istanbul's Olympic bidding. So increased reputation in the country, but also internationally. This was also evident. And finally, creation of professional networks was also something evident in the case of Istanbul. Okay, so thank you very much. I don't know how are you going to manage with 250 people, but I will be happy to answer your questions now.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Tinas, for such a great presentation. If I may comment on the first place and tell something to the audience, I am sure that not so many people are ever thinking that the topic you are choosing is something that was ever come to mind, especially for Indonesian people. What we commonly think to be studied in terms of Olympic game or in hosting bid of the game is only when one country succeeded in hosting the game, but not for the failing one. So you are coming out with, you come up with the, I mean, very different ideas, and it's of course interest us in trying to dig out more, further, deeper, and to elaborate more with the question. But please allow me to tell the audience, because the majority of the audience is Indonesian students, so I need to speak to them in Bahasa, in my Indonesian language, for about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Bapak dan Ibu yang saya hormati, apa yang tadi sudah diungkap oleh Profesor Tinas ini merupakan hal yang menurut saya merupakan hal baru ya. Beliau cerita tentang warisan. Kalau dilihat dari judulnya artinya kan dia warisan tentang ketika sebuah negara gagal untuk menjadi tuan rumah dari satu event olahraga besar seperti Olympic Games dan sebagainya. Beliau mempelajari dari 3 kasus, yaitu termasuk Turki sendiri yang sudah berusaha 4 kali terus-menerus menjadi untuk menjadi tuan rumah tapi gagal. Di samping juga ada Chicago dan ada di negara mana satu lagi ya, saya lupa. Nah, beliau cerita bahwa walaupun mereka gagal, tapi ternyata setelah dipelajari, ternyata ada hal-hal positif yang menjadi warisan bagi penduduk di kota yang mengajukan diri sebagai tuan rumah. Di antaranya ya memang banyak sekali yang beliau ungkap ya, finding-findingnya, yang semuanya tentunya sebenarnya bersifat positif. karena tuan rumah, artinya sebagai calon tuan rumah sebuah kota atau sebuah negara sudah berupaya sungguh-sungguh mempersiapkan segala macamnya, termasuk dalam hal menunjukkan dan membuktikan bahwa mereka mampu secara infrastruktur, secara keamanan, secara ekonomi dan sebagainya, sehingga tetap ada yang menjadi warisan positif bagi kota atau negara itu ketika mereka gagal dan tidak berhasil menjadi tuan rumah dari event yang besar tersebut. Walaupun gagal, tetap mereka bisa mengambil manfaat, dan itulah yang beliau pelajari atau Profesor Tinas ungkapkan, yang mudah-mudahan juga bisa mendorong kita untuk juga katakanlah meminati salah satu bidang keilmuan dalam sport management ini, yaitu kegagalan Indonesia untuk menjadi tuan rumah apa dan sebagainya misalnya. Termasuk karena nanti Indonesia akan mengajukan diri sebagai tuan rumah untuk event-event besar di waktu yang dekat ke depan ini. Baik, saya kira itu yang bisa saya ungkapkan sebagai pengulas, dan saya mohon supaya ini waktunya sangat banyak sebenarnya. Well, actually, we have still plenty of time because you went so fast in presenting your presentation, and also the honorable speaker in the previous session also went so fast. So we have still plenty of time to finish. So I hope everyone will try to maximize the time left to elaborate more on the topic you just already mentioned beforehand. All right, Bapak dan Ibu, now we have come to the question and answer session. I would like to invite at least 3 questions from the floor for the first stage, and then we could see if the time still much time to use, then we can go further to the next session. Please.
I see some question in the chat box, so I see at least 2 of them.
Oh, okay. In the chat box.
Yeah.
It's something that.
So.
All right. I would suggest that the person who wrote the question via chat could also speak. You can deliver it in Indonesia if you don't want to speak in English. But well, because it's not so easy to track down all the question written in the chat bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the question from Dick.
I see one question about Indonesia's 2032 Olympic bidding. So
Yes.
I love to respond that first.
Okay, please.
Okay. Yeah,
Please.
I mean, so when we look at the flag, we see that only some privileged nations had the chance to host the Olympic Games in the history of modern sports. So there are, and if you look at the Winter Olympic Games, it is worse. But if you look at the Summer Games, at least we see some more nations, some more countries. I mean, when we think about today's requirements and the cost of hosting Olympic Games, it is huge. I mean, Russia spent for hosting the Sochi Games more than $50 billion. $50 billion. And they have well promoted that. I mean, they actually said everywhere that we spend more than $50 billion. So, I mean, this investment is huge, clearly. And when you look at the other numbers of other nations, you clearly see that the cheapest one is something like during the last 30 years, maybe the cheapest one costs something like $6-7 billion. I mean, these are huge investments, and you need to actually connect it with different aspects of the nation. So it's not only related with sports. Definitely, I believe Indonesia can host the games, and it would be really nice to see that the Olympic Games are hosted in these kind of regions, because what we have seen in modern sports has been always the same. I mean, always the same nations had it. So because of the increased cost and because of the nations who were not willing to host those games anymore, IOC decided to change the whole procedure. So right now, there isn't any structured bidding process. So it is an open bidding, and IOC called this as ongoing conversation. So any nation who like to host the games contacts with the IOC, and then the process starts. So, and whenever IOC thinks that, okay, it is the right time, they announce the official candidacy. But it's an open process, ongoing process. It will be pretty different. They have decreased the cost of bidding, but to me, it wasn't the main problem. I mean, the main problem is cost of hosting, because you need to spend, as said, $5-10 billion, and this is a huge investment for a lot of nations. But I think when we talk more about the positive impacts, positive effects of bidding, maybe there can be more nations who are willing to bid. And if you bid officially for the 2032 games, I'm sure it's going to create some positive effects if the government can use it in an effective way, because there should be clear strategies related to that. It's not an only sports-related project. Yes, I can tell you this.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the answer for the question from. Oh, I lost the question already. So okay, maybe you can, the audience, you can extend your question directly, and please speak up. I saw Professor Danu Hudaya already attended the meeting also. Welcome, Prof. Danu Hudaya. Bapak dan Ibu, silakan, ada yang mau nanya lagi? Boleh dalam bahasa Indonesia. Frankly speaking, I have difficulty to read the chat because the character is too small for me.
I see another question.
All right. Okay.
So
You may go. You may go.
Yeah, Didik actually.
Didik. Oh yeah, from Didik. Yeah.
Yeah. The extent to which professional networking influences the outcome in determining the host in the Olympic bidding process. So actually, those networks, IOC does a lot that these networks, these relationships impacts the result of the games. Because in the past, we have seen lots of problems, unfortunately, some bribery scandals, corruption. The FIFA has seen that something similar in the World Cup bid. So that's why there are pretty structured rules. So you can have individual talks with those people who are making the decision. What I mean by professional networks is through the process, you meet with a lot of people. And these kind of meetings, these kind of relationships can create some positive future for those people. I mean, for example, in the Turkish case, the president of Turkish National Olympic Committee, he became the vice president of the IOC. I mean, we don't say that he became because of our Olympic bidding, but clearly our Olympic bidding has created some opportunities for him to communicate with the most prominent, influential people. I mean, the person who was at the top of the bidding, 2020 bidding, actually he became a board member of European Olympic Committee, and he became a member for the marketing commission of IOC. So our Secretary General of National Olympic Committee became a board member of World Olympic Committee's board, and she became also a member of the Women and Sport Commission. So clearly, we have seen some positive impacts, which is created through the Olympic process, but no one can say that these networks, these relationships can impact the effect, can impact the decision, can impact the decision who's going to host the games, because this is a very complex process right now, and IOC is doing a lot of things to keep it clean. Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for the answer. And I just saw one of the chat asking also the questions from Saiful Anwar.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I see it. What do you think the main review so that Istanbul don't host the Olympic Games, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very sensitive question. Very sensitive question.
Yeah,
I mean, so in 2013, when I was dealing with those issues, actually, 3 people came from Japan. So they were journalists. 3 people came to my university and they did an interview with me right before the decision is made. And I told them, so I see that the Istanbul has the highest chance. I told them because of some reasons. The first of them was the potential of Turkey. So clearly, we were competing with Madrid and Tokyo, and if you compare those nations or those cities with Istanbul and the nations Spain and Japan with Turkey, clearly here we have a bigger potential. Because why? Because they were developed nations. I mean, the sports industry in Spain and Japan was saturated. But there was a bigger potential for Turkey because of the younger generation, because it is, it's an access point to the Middle East. I mean, through Turkey, those nations can reach to the Middle Eastern countries, which have also huge potential. So I thought, because of these reasons, Istanbul has a higher chance. But actually in 2013, everything has changed in 3 months. I mean, there were huge protests against the government. There were huge risks what IOC has seen in Brazil. So, I mean, there were some delays, there were some problems, and actually Japan had something else. They had the Fukushima problem, nuclear reactor. So they had also different problems, but it seems we had bigger problems according to IOC. And I believe those are the main reasons why they went with Tokyo. And when we look at today's situation, when we look at the COVID issue, I am glad that we didn't have it, because it was going to create a huge negative effect on Turkish economy, which is undergoing huge troubles during the last couple of years. And I cannot imagine what could we have done if we had the games and we had to postpone it, because clearly it has created a huge negative effect for the Japan economy. Yeah.
Okay. It's really interesting. But I just got the question also from Renata Putri. I'd like to invite directly Renata Putri to talk. I mean, you deliver the question verbally, because I just would like, I knew this Renata Putri since long, but I've never met. I'm sure she is not having any problem with delivering question directly. Could admin of the Zoom let Renata Putri to speak? The mute. Can you unmute the Renata Putri?
Yes, we already have.
Yeah, please, Miss Renata Putri.
Thank you very much for the time, and I've known you too for quite a while too, Pak. So thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much
you.
for giving me the time. So Mr. Tinas, could you please actually I'd like to go back to the past events. So you know that sports mega event is not isolated from human rights issues or something like that, and especially about a bidding or something like that. And then we in academics heard a lot of things about gentrification problems to make spaces for the infrastructure. So I really want to know, because I honestly never really dig into Turkish issues before. Would you like to actually explain or tell us some story about how was the community backlash back when Turkey was applying for the bid, or maybe something like, and how did the government handle the issue? I mean, the community unrest. They say they don't want to, because in Brazil there are a lot of unrest, there are a lot of backlash, and is there something like that happen in Turkey? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the wonderful question. Actually, it was really interesting, and this Olympic issue is kind of national issue for the Turkish community. I mean, everything has started in 1990s. So when we first bid for the Olympic Games, and actually in that time, in 1993, the Turkish government has accepted a law which is saying whenever Olympic bidding is available, Turkey has to apply for it. So that was the main reason why, that was the main reason why we kept applying bid continuously. The only time which we didn't bid was the 2016 games, and for that the government again had to accept a regulation which is saying for this time we skip it. So there is a government law which is saying that we need to apply. So this is something really interesting, and this isn't something which you can find anywhere else. Yeah. And actually in 2013 the backlash wasn't against the Olympic bidding. It was against the government because of other issues, humanitarian issues. I mean, we haven't seen a reaction what was visible in Brazil, or I don't know, in Germany or in Poland, because those nations, they have voted, the communities have voted if they are willing to host the games. And in Poland, in Germany, and in Hungary, they said, no, we don't want to host the games. I mean, in Turkey, I don't understand the reason, but it's a national issue. I mean, although the Turkish economy is in a pretty bad shape right now, believe me, if there is an Olympic bidding available right now, and if you go and ask to the community, although 50% of the community is not voting for the current government, I am sure at least 80% of them will agree. 85% will say we like to host the games. I mean, that's why there isn't any backlash in Turkey. Actually, the community support was the highest compared with Madrid and Tokyo. I mean, this is evident in ISC reports also. But yes, I agree. I mean, there is always an alternative cost. I mean, you can always argue if you like to spend a couple $1 billion for sport or a couple $1 billion for education, for different kind of infrastructure, different kind of development. I mean, it's always a question, and there is always an alternative cost. You can argue. I mean, I definitely agree with that. But if you approach this whole process strategically, I believe that with a reasonable adjustment, with a reasonable investment, you can have good Olympic Games, high quality Olympic Games. But in the meantime, you can develop different aspects of the community. I mean, this is doable, but you need to plan. I mean, one of the best plans what I have seen is in the UK. I mean, for the London Olympic Games, they did huge strategy. I mean, they have changed a lot of things. Even before hosting the games, they knew exactly what they are going to do with this infrastructure and how they are going to use those facilities in long term. I don't know, maybe some of you have visited London. I had the chance to visit the Olympic Village in London. I mean, it's full of people, full of children, full of organizations. I mean, they are using those facilities effectively, and I'm sure that they're going to use it for the good of community. I'm sure that they're going to use it for the good of the nation in long term. So we need such plans. But of course, it's not easy to realize those plans.
Okay.
All right. I think your answer already accepted by Ms. Renata. And I could see that though, I hope we can still have one more question to extend. And I choose the question from Mr. Charles Siwan, because something related not only to bidding become the host, but also related to maybe it's connected to something in sport management in order to become the country who has a strong, let's say, achievement. The question coming from Mr. Charles Siwan. The question is, the developing countries find it very difficult to be able to compete to become hosts of the Olympic game and also taking part in the Olympic, because they have already failed in the qualifying round or qualifying event. The question is, what is the solution so that everyone can participate in the Olympic? Maybe it's the questions like trying to dig out the information, what you have done, best experience or best practice in your country. Yes. Could you please answer that question?
Yeah, actually, I mean, as I said, IOC is trying to find out the answer to this question. So that is the main reason why they have changed the whole bidding procedure. That is the main reason why they are trying to decrease what they are asking for. I mean, the problem is, if you ask a swimming pool with a capacity of, I don't know, 20,000 people, so it's not possible to use it after the Olympic Games. I mean, even in the Olympic Games, it's difficult to have a full stand. 20,000 people for swimming. I mean, that's why they are trying to change their mentality. I mean, they are trying to ask less, so more nations can participate in the whole process. Because, I mean, it's something related with the economy, but on the other hand, it's something related with the nation in general. I mean, for example, you may heard about European Games. The first version is hosted in Azerbaijan, Baku. And then there was only one nation who wanted to host these games, Netherlands. And the cost of the games was, I mean, incomparable. It was something like 100 million euros or something like that. It's pretty small. But still, the community said, no, we don't want that. Because they think that they don't need it. I mean, they think that the hosting these games is not going to create any added value for the nation. So that should be the main aspect. I mean, the international federations, Olympic committees, and International Olympic Committee, I think they need to focus on this aspect, how they can create an added value for the nation with reasonable costs. So that is the main question. Of course, this is very complex. It's not an easy question to answer. There are a lot of different aspects of that. But I think with the change regulations and change different mentalities, in the future, we are going to see more nations who are willing to host Olympic Games. But still, it's too big. It's too big. I mean, not all nations can do that. It's too big for many nations, and there isn't anything what they can do to solve this problem. So this is something related with the commodification of the modern sports. It's not only sports anymore. It's a huge entertainment business with sponsors who are ready to pay hundreds of $millions with the broadcasting rights, which cost $1 billion. I mean, it's a huge industry right now, and I don't think that they can change it. I mean, they can make it reverse because it's going on into a different direction. But they can make some adjustments, and this is what they are trying to do right now.
All right. I think we have come
You hear me?
Okay. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. I hope Mr. Charsiwan's already satisfied with the answer. I am sure you already answered from various perspectives. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry that the time could not allow us to go more. So it is the end of the first session. I would like to extend great gratitude to Professor Tinas for such a great presentation and explanation regarding the very interesting and inspiring topic. Hopefully for the academician of the sport in Indonesia, your topic will become also something that could be make use for what we call to become something as one discipline that is growing in the latter. Okay, thank you also to all participants, especially those who already extend the question. Now we will back to the master ceremony, and for myself personally, please follow extend my sorry please forgive me for not being a very good moderator. Thank you very much, Prof. Tinas, and congratulations.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation, Professor. Thank you very much, all the people who worked for the conference. Thank you very much for the participants. So I am really glad to see more than 250 people. So it was my record virtually. Thank you. Wish you good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much, and see you later.
Hopefully.
Please, the master of ceremony. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you to Dr. Agus Mahendra, who has already guided as a moderator in the presentation of Professor Chemtinas. Now we have come to the last main sessions. In the second season, we will have a presentation from Dr. Didi Asale, PhD, about community health development through sport in the perspective of sport for development and peace. This season will be guided by Anira MPD as the moderator. Anira MPD is a lecturer of the VETE for primary school study program, the Faculty of Sport and Health Education. To Miss Anira, you may guide the session.
Okay, thank you very much for Master Ceremony, Miss Syarifatunisa. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the last session of Virtual International Seminar, Sport for Development and Peace in Indonesia. In the last session, we'll have a speech from Dr. Didi Asale, PhD, about community health development through sport in the perspective of sport for development and peace. Before we start the presentation from Dr. Didi, please allow me to read her CV first. Dr. Didi have a multi-award winning and also celebrity exercise psychologist, nutritionist, TV presenter and talk show host in the academic adjunct senior lecture at Edith Cowan University, Australia. And also her PhD research on obesity was chosen from its impact on obesity in Asia and was accepted and presented in the President's Cup Award, American College of Sport Medicine Notice annual meeting in Tacoma, Washington. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is a brief CV for Dr. Didi. Without waiting any longer, please welcome Dr. Didi. Dr. Didi, the floor is yours. Please welcome Dr. Didi.
All right. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here, and I want to thank many people. I was in UPI the last time, and I see familiar faces, and I'm very happy to see everyone here again. Okay, so of course we are, thank you very much for inviting me to the virtual international seminar sport for development and peace in Indonesia. I was very excited when I was invited for this. So I would like to say congratulations, okay, congratulations to the because of the virtual international seminar of sport for development and peace in Indonesia by Pendidikan Olahraga Sekolah Pasca Sarjana Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Yeah, and then I would really like to congratulate, hearty congratulations also for the launch of the Asian Journal of Sport for Development and Peace. Now, I'm very excited for the launch of this journal, particularly because it is highlighting ASEAN, and I think as I present my presentation today, I think you would understand why, okay, that I'm very excited about this being an Asian-focused journal of sport for development and peace. I think it's high time that an Asian journal of sport for development and peace be put forth. And I think also from my background and network and working as also in the media, all right, I'm very happy to actually support any media coverages, in terms of what the ASEAN Journal of Sport for Development and Peace is doing here. Okay, but first of all, let me say my appreciations and greetings to the Chancellor of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, Professor Dr. M. Solihuddin, MPD, MA, the Vice Chancellor for Planning, Organization and Information Systems, Professor Dr. Adang Suherman, MA, Director of School Postgraduate, Professor Dr. H. Shihabuddin, MPD, Chairman of ASEAN Journal of Sport for Development and Peace, Professor Dr. Amung Makmun, MPD, keynote speaker, Professor Cem Tinas from Okan University, Istanbul, Turkey. Okay, I see just now Dr. Agus, okay, Professor Agus Mahendra.
Hello, Prof. Didi.
Yes, I'm seeing you right now. Okay, this was sent to me, but I think you know, your name was missed out, so I must highlight you. Okay, Professor Agus. Okay, all right, and I would like also to thank Dr. Dian Budiana, MPD, Vice Dean on Academic Affairs, Faculty of Sport and Health Education, Research Collaborations Partner, and of course, you know, for the hard work of the organizing committee. All right, we know I've been in committees before, and I know it is really hard work. And of course, the professors, lecturers, and conference delegates and students. Yeah. Okay, today my presentation will be on community health development through sport in the perspective of sport for development and peace. Right. Okay, in 1894, Pierre de Coubertin had already considered the reconstruction of the modern Olympic Games to bring nations closer together around sports discipline. You know, the five circles represent a major sport event the whole world knows about. Okay, and for many years since 1894, so that's really a long time. And he actually said he remained convinced that sport is one of the most forceful elements of peace, and he's confident in its future action. You know, and we know that with Olympics has bring together many people from many different countries all over the world, you know, for just one cause that everybody goes towards is performing in sports. And you know, everybody at that particular moment is cheering, you know, for their team or the countries or other countries' teams to actually excel and succeed. You know, and then of course when you know, somebody did not succeed, maybe they failed, you know, and then you feel the heartbreak as well, you know. So sport is a very emotional, you know, when I talk about sport, it contains a lot of emotions. Okay, now sport has the power to change the world. Now this is a very famous Nelson Mandela. Okay, and because of him, you know, he has done a lot of work with the apartheid, right, with the race, right. And then he says that he has the power, sport has the power to unite people that little else does. And then sport is also about hope, you know. And when we're talking about sport, even if, you know, you're speaking Indonesian, I'm speaking English, or anybody else speaking French or any other language, you know, and when an athlete is performing, we understand, you know. So okay, may I ask, what is sport to you? Okay, what is sport to you? Okay, you all can answer me. All right, just answer me, just one or two questions. What is sport to you? Okay, maybe I have one answer from someone. Unmute and then answer me. Okay, silakan saya bertanya, apa itu sukan bagi anda? Jadi untuk satu orang untuk jawab, apa itu sukan? Apa makna sukan bagi anda? Silakan. Olahraga, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, olahraga, ya. Okay, I want you to watch this video. All right, I want you to watch this video. Whoops.
Is it not working?
Dr. Dian, I think I'm having some technical problem there. Could you is my slide on the spot? Can you play it from there?
No, we can play it.
Oh, you can play it from there. Okay, just play the slide.
The video.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why.
excuse me.
Okay, do you want me to stop my screen share for a while?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah, I think you should do that.
Okay, I do that. Okay.
Okay, wait a minute, right?
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, while waiting for everyone to the video to come on. Alright, apa itu selain daripada berfikir tentang olahraga, apa yang timbul di minda apabila kita bicara tentang sukan? Silakan, seorang lagi.
Ya, saya ya supaya cepat, Prof. Didi. Sport is any physical endeavor in order to, especially those who are having a specific rule and have become legalized by one of the board.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. With rules and regulations and all that. Okay. What I'm going to do, okay. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to share screen, and maybe what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go on the internet and copy paste, and then maybe we can go from there. Okay, everybody?
Yeah.
Just hang on for a bit. Okay. Are you still seeing my screen? Not yet, right? Okay. Hang on. Hang on, yeah.
Miss Didi?
Yep.
Oh,
Yes,
it's
yes.
working.
You can see this. Okay, okay.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Are you seeing it from my screen?
Yes, we already see it.
Okay, good. Okay, let's do this. There you go. Okay, so we actually know. Okay, as long as you guys can see it, can you see it right now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, right. Okay, I think I've got to go into this screen, yeah. All right. So again, as I was saying, okay. Now, just now when I was asking you what is sport, okay, actually sport, being as Dr. Agus was mentioning, with lots of rules and regulations, actually sport bring with it not only rules and regulation, but then when you're participating in sport, sport is emotions, a lot of emotions. All right, just like the video just now show you, it's despair, it's happy, it's sad, it's competitive, it's hope, it's a language of hope, it's and again, sport is multilingual. You don't even need languages, okay? And again, sport is unity. Sport is camaraderie. That means camaraderie means like it is like you and me. I support you, you support me. And then again, sport is social inclusion. where you have played when you were younger, right? Di kampung, right? Pernah bermain sepak bola dengan teman-teman kan, apabila anda kecil dahulu kan, walaupun orang kita nggak kenal tetapi ingin main sepak bola dengan kita bisa kan ya. See, so sport is social inclusion, and sport also builds self-esteem. You feel very confident. All these things. Okay, sport is strength, physical and mental. You need to be focused. Okay, just like you need to be strong. You need to have a lot of strength in order to win. Sport is also health. Okay, sport motivates, inspires. Okay, and actually, if you notice this word, right, sport is life personified. Sport is actually about life. Everything that you go on every day in your life, that is actually how you feel in sports, right? You need to be focused. You need to be motivated. All right. And then after that, sport is education. So all this sport is about building bridges. All right. So again, now when we're talking about sport development, all right, we are actually talking about even one person. All right. Us, individual. And we are also talking about the communities. When you build one person, all right, the individual, and then he goes out into the community and he becomes more positive. And when he's more positive, he will build up other people. All right. So look at this, everyone. Okay, sport is nationally. I want you to take a look at this, right? Okay, nationally, sport as a medium to promote. Now we are talking about maybe the whole of your country, and internationally, sport as a medium to promote. We live in a country where it's multi-races, right? So ada China, ada Melayu, ada India, right? All the races and all that comes together through sports. All right, and then after we exchange ideas and skills and creativity. So you look at this is the nationally, and this is internationally. When sports cross borders, that means goes out of the country, we come together as one. You see, so we say all for one and one for all. Okay, so look at this, everyone. Okay, sport has a unique power to attract, right? So when we're talking about sport, all right, we are talking about a global phenomenon. It affects the world, all right? And then inherent values and inherent values of sport. Okay, wait, hang on. I can't seem to see my. Okay. Benefits of sport. We know teamwork, communication, leadership, fair play, and then respect, good health, and then discipline, and more, right? So, and we when we talk about sport also, all right, sport is actually also human rights, right? Every human being has a basic right to access physical education and sport. That's why right now, when we're talking about sport, we need to get the education as well, the knowledge, and then now sport has become very, very up to professional level and even to community level. The sports are being researched, and we know so much more than we had before, right? So everyone must have full opportunities, okay, with and then so that they can practice physical education and sport. Okay, again, we must also not forget those special opportunities for young people, for the elderly, for people, for disabled people and people of every walks of life, basically. Okay, so basically, when we're talking about health, all right, when we talk about sport, right, nowadays we take up sport to get healthy. All right. Of course, when we're talking about sport, we think about sport as winning. But even now, we take up sports as being healthy. Right now, when we know health is not only is actually a total complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being. All right, it's not only because you're not sick, or you don't have any diseases or something. It's actually health is all three: physical, mental, and social. So when we're talking about health, right, this is health here. All right, and then when we're talking about playing sports, we actually need all these fitness, right? When we're talking about fitness, and then we need health related fitness, and then we need performance related fitness. And these are the things that we actually need when we participate in sports. And then again, apart from performing in sports, for health, sports for performance, all right, the better we are at understanding knowledge in sports, the better we perform our sports. And of course, we don't get injured, right? Because we understand what to do, right? And of course, all that, health and then fitness goes to quality of life. All right, so when we're talking about sport for development and peace, all right, it is, we need to understand that it is an international movement, right? International movement that began in 2000 with the Millennium Development Goals. That was, it started off with 15 years of that. And then right now we are going into the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for 2015 to 2030. Okay, so what do we need to do? Actually, the movement, okay, continues to implement sports project in international development. So that means every project from respective countries, okay, in an international development context, to so that because that's why it's called a movement. If you can go across the countries, all right, to promote sports development, okay, for peace. All right, sports development, taking into consideration different countries participating together. All right, that's the United Nations Sustainable Goal. Okay, so using sport also as a vehicle to reach social and humanitarian reasons and all that. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. All right, United Nations Sustainable Goals. If you notice, yeah, number 3, I think. That's okay, over here I think that's about health and sustainable development goals. All right, health is a very important part of it. Okay, now UN resolutions, okay, if you notice, they actually mentioned, the United Nations mentioned that sport is an enabler of sustainable development. So that means using sport to encourage development, right? Not only development in terms of physical, but social and also mental, in terms of social cohesion and all that. Okay, and then of course building a peaceful and better world through sport and the Olympic ideal. That's why we have the Olympic every year, right? Okay, now this was what I was explaining just now. All right, now when we're talking about development of individuals and communities through sports, right? Okay, just now I was talking about one individual. I'm talking also about the communities through sport. Now, we are also talking about the development of sport. So we're talking about development of individuals and communities through sport. And we're also talking about the development of the sport. And how do we do this? Okay, I'll give you a case study, all right? Why I'm bringing this case study is for you to understand how a movement is being done. One of it, this is a case study. It's called Walking Football for Health. When I was in UPI, last year, I actually introduced Walking Football for Health to Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Yeah, so I will share with you this case study so you would actually understand, all right, how it's been made. All right, now first of all, I am going to hang on for this. All right, I'm just going to exit this one and then go to the next one. Whoops. Okay, hang on. I think I lost someone there. Hang on, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to go on the internet. Bear with me, everybody. Okay, there you go. Okay, I'm just going to scroll through a little bit, okay, and then show you, because there's a lot of photographs here. It's easier for me to show you. All right, now, okay, one of the things is, with regards to walking football for health. All right, can you see me, everyone?
No, we can see your.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, you can see the screen, yeah. Okay, I'm showing you, all right, the work, the walking football for health. All right, these are, this is the conference that we presented our case study on, can walking foot. It has also been presented, okay, scientific findings at the American College of Sports Medicine as well. All right, and then okay, walking football. I just want you to take a look at this one. Okay, walking football is actually when people not many people know what is walking football. Apa itu bola sepak berjalan, okay, ataupun sepak bola berjalan. Sebenarnya sepak bola berjalan, walking football is the rules is the same like the normal football, okay, but you don't have any contact, so you don't tackle, so enggak ada contact di antara satu sama lain. Yeah, this is a modified sport. That means you can only walk, you cannot run. So when you run, it's foul. Yeah. All right. And then normally it's being played by 5 plus 1 goalkeeper. All right. And then sometimes it can go up to 6 or 7 team player per team. All right. Now the time, of course, is flexible, maybe about 10 minutes to 15 or even 20 minutes per half. All right. And what happens is that, okay, this walking football for health, I'm going to show you this. It was first, I'm going to share with you, okay, how it all started. The first time I actually sent it out to the media, okay, only 10 people. Okay, I show you over here. Right, only 10 ladies come in. Okay, bila saya
Sorry.
beritahu di media, okay, cuma 10 sahaja wanita yang tampil untuk main sepak bola berjalan. Yes?
We only see your PowerPoint, but not the screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, hang on.
Maybe you have to stop screen and then share screen again with the.
Okay, I will stop and then share screen again, okay? Thank you.
Yes.
All right. All right, hang on. Okay, can you see me? Can you see the Berita Harian?
Yes, we can see this.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I was telling you just now, okay, like this. Okay, the first time bola sepak berjalan ataupun sepak bola berjalan dikeluarkan di media, okay, came out in the media, okay, only 10 ladies, right? Only 10 ladies. All right, and they are obesity. So this was the 10 women who we actually did a research on it, and we were trying to prove whether, because all over the world, when we're talking about walking, everybody likes to do the sport of walking, right? Berjalan. But berjalan normally use the forward movements, right? So you don't actually use the movement of the side or the back. You don't actually move forward, move sideways. And then and I'm thinking, like, when you do walking football, all right, you can actually train your balance, your coordination, your agility. So that's the reason why I actually started this in 2017. All right, and then since then, okay, it has and then one thing is being called walking football for health, because it actually takes into consideration how you were when you start, apabila kamu bermula, okay, di mana apakah kesihatan tahap kesihatan tu di masa itu, dan selepas 3 atau 6 bulan, apakah kesihatan anda selepas bermain sepak bola berjalan. So that's why okay, this is actually a movement. Okay, when we're talking about movement, this is a game with South Africa. Okay, I'm going to show you, and this is a game in Perth. Okay, in Australia. So All right. This in 2019. All right. We actually went to Australia for the International Communities Games. All right, International Communities Games. Now, and then we actually also went to Malaysia with the Malaysian Football Association of Malaysia. And then this is the ones that we went to London to have the World Cup walking football. Okay, now remember I told you just now we only started with 10 ladies. All right. Actually, when right now we are in the process of doing a World Cup walking football for health. All right. But then the COVID strike, right? This is one of the we actually did a lot of one of the when we first started with the ladies. Okay, we tried to find what was the impact to metabolic rate and caloric intensity, and from our research which was presented here at ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine. All right, it was proven that walking football actually has health benefits, as compared to walking. All right, so everyone is encouraged to do walking football as well, and because it is a team game. And then later on, it was presented at the AFC, Asian Football Confederation. So what I'm trying to now, I'm going to stop sharing. You have seen lots of photographs here. All right, now let me share the. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now I still can't get into the slide mode. Okay, anyway, can you see the slides, everyone?
Yes, we can see this.
Okay, all right. So let's stay over here. Okay, all right. Now, why? If you notice, right, when we're talking about sports for development, all right, sports for development and peace, right? Why I'm sharing this is to encourage everyone to form not only walking football. I mean, this is just an example, all right. But of course, I'm also encouraging if anyone wants to collaborate. Okay, because when we the next level is walking football for health World Cup, but unfortunately because of the COVID, right, we can't travel anywhere, so we are based in our own country. All right, now walking football has not, because when we're talking about sport also need to develop, sport also need to adapt. That means adapt to changing times. Right now, because it is COVID, right? So the sports is being brought into the respective country. So what do we do? Okay, I'm going to share you. Okay. Now, okay, before I go on, if you notice, okay, this sport, walking football for health as a case study, is a communities crossing countries. It goes to many countries, and then it empowers the community, all right, as and develop the community, okay, in a movement. And then you notice that, okay, it is multi generations, okay, as young as 7 years old, as old as 79 years old, all right, of all ages. This is in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. All right, it crosses countries as well. All right, so that means it's multilingual. Okay, and then look at this. Okay, all right, I'm going to share this with you all later. Okay, these are all the publications and all that. I'll just put it over here. But then you notice that, okay, with when we're talking about collaborations, right? When we're talking about collaborations, we also talk about regional and global collaborations. All right, so we need to work with the communities, the governments, the partners, the federation, sports federation, academia. Academia is where we actually do research. All right, and then of course I think if sports for development, if you develop a sport, and then after that you need media as well to boost it out into the different countries, to all over the world, so that everybody gets the message of peace. All right, so that everybody, when we play sports and all that, is the feeling of sportsmanship. The feeling of sportsmanship, which is also encouraged in corporate organizations, right? The corporate organizations, the companies and all that, they encourage you to play sports. Why? Because you develop positive mentality. All right, so that's why we need to empower the movement. All right, so 2020 is an International Day of Sport for Development. Okay, when we're talking about International Day of Sport for Development, that's the 6th of April. All right, but then 2020, we actually suffered, we actually had the COVID, right? So a lot of things are changing. All right, but you notice that whether things are changing, whether it's COVID or not, we need our physical activity in order to be healthy. If not, then we will fall sick. We know that when we actually exercise, okay, the extracellular superoxide dismutase, that's the enzyme that actually helps our lungs region become stronger, right? So I think it is a fact that we actually need at least 150 minutes, okay, a week of exercise. All right, so what do you do? Okay, what do you do in terms of safety in sports and exercise? Okay, I'm going to share with you this one. All right, this one is sharing with you, okay, what's happening in Singapore at the moment. Okay, so at least you'll have the idea. I'm going to stop share and I'm going to share it again. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. This is going to be in Malay, so it's something you understand.
Okay.
Kalau beramai-ramai, dia semarak dia tu, motivasi dia tu lagi merangsangkan, pasal kita akan sokong antara satu sama lain. Pasal kedua, lepak jauh pun banyak tu, dan dalam yang sama ada pula seperti lepak dekat taman tu lah. Pakar kesihatan Dr. Kiri Mahmud serta anak buahnya pun menarik nafas lega sejak kelonggaran diberi bagi aktiviti bersenam dan berlaga di bawah fasa kedua pasca langkah pemutus rantaian jangkitan COVID-19. Dalam mempromosikan gaya hidup sihat ini melalui senaman, selalunya banyak senaman yang dilakukan secara berkumpulan. Bila COVID-19 melanda, jadi banyak aktiviti-aktiviti yang berinteraksi fizikal perlu diberhentikan. Jadi apa yang dilakukan adalah mempromosikan gaya hidup sihat melalui alam maya. Jadi melalui sosial media sosial, Zoom dan sebagainya lah. Kaum awam yang sudah sekian lama mengikuti program senaman bimbingan ini seperti sudah tidak sabar lagi untuk kembali bertemu untuk bersenam dalam kumpulan. Kalau sebelumnya COVID, kita senaman beramai-ramai, jadi tak bosan. Dan jadi COVID ni, suddenly kena seorang-seorang, mentality nak kena kuat lah. You just have to motivasi diri tu nak kena kuat, pasal tak ada orang keliling kita. Sebenarnya every life tu kita memang interaktif antara diri dengan kita. Cuma kadang-kadang tu boleh pilih-pilih lah, boleh puas-puas dan puas dalam kelas, tak ada puas-puas dalam terus saja. Bila kita berinteraksi secara fizikal, bila bersenam, jadi apa yang dilakukan, senaman yang dilakukan dengan pergerakan yang salah, boleh diperbetulkan. Tetapi kerana di alam maya, jadi kita beritahu, okey, tukar sebegini atau bertukar segitu. Kadang-kadang mereka tak faham.
Okay, these are the participants for the Walking Football for Health. They are doing their fitness sessions.
Kadang-kadang mereka buat atau tak buat. Jadi di situ, setiap kali mereka tak lakukan senaman, setiap kali dah lagi senang mereka
Okay, this is how we train walking football for health right now. Okay, if you notice that, you don't have more than 5 people plus 1 coach. All right, these are all safety, during COVID.
Gunakan diri sendiri, bawa dari rumah, lebih baik untuk pastikan keselamatan dan kesihatan semua.
Masa itu kita yang penting kan kita mesti mau wearing mask. Kalau kita itu menangani COVID-19 akan go away faster.
Meneruskan gaya hidup sihat namun mematuhi segala peraturan yang ditetapkan, semuanya dilakukan agar wabak COVID-19 segera berlalu. Kajian yang sedang dilakukan Dr. Didi bersama Universiti Edith Cowan senyaman aktif untuk membantu dalam menangkis virus corona. Menurut kajian, bila kita melakukan senaman, tubuh kita akan mengeluarkan sejenis antioksidan enzim yang dipanggil ECSOD lah. Itu yang saya kaji itu. Extracellular peroxide dismutase, di mana dia akan dikeluarkan oleh tubuh kita bila kita bersenaman. Terutama sekali bila kita bersenam secara kardiovaskular. Antioksidan enzim ini penting sekali untuk tubuh kita kerana ia akan menolong kita sebagai mata menolong kita, melindungi kita, dan mengurangkan mungkin kalau kita lihat kita ada dipanggil acute air respiratory syndrome di mana ini akan dirasakan oleh setiap pesakit COVID-19 selama yang membentuk kardiovaskular yang menguatkan jantung, menguatkan pernafasan dan juga baik dia juga untuk buat pinggang dan juga kekuatan jantung.
All right, everybody, you have actually hang on, pause share. All right, can you see the screen right now?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you. This is a very tricky situation, everybody. Okay, now of course I know just now, right? I was sharing with you the safety in this COVID situation. So that's why when you do a movement, whatever you do, when it concerns sport, all right, and exercise, we actually need to take into considerations the safety factors during this COVID situation. Now, okay, Walking Football for Health has also gone online, okay, meaning, okay, trainings are being done, all right, are being done on YouTube. So basically, sekarang jika mau keluarkan untuk bermain sepak bola, cuma bisa 5 orang saja, 5 person, right? And then after another team, 5 person. But these two team cannot be together. So you cannot have a match. You can only play within your 5 people. Maksudnya anda enggak bisa bermain match. Ya, cuma boleh bisa bermain di antara satu sama lain cuma 5 orang saja, dan grup pertama tidak boleh dengan grup kedua ataupun grup ketiga. Ya, so again, okay, and we notice that one of the things that we were studying about is about obesity in ASEAN. So when I found this invitation, when I received this invitation, all right, about the launch of the Asian Journal of Sport for Development and Peace, I was very, very, very overjoyed. Okay, everyone. Okay, now what I'm going to do right now, okay, let me see. Okay, 6 April is the year 2021, International Day of Sport for Development. Okay, before I leave, I just want to share very quickly with you, because I am actually welcoming everyone over here to collaborate with me with regards to Walking Football for Health. Okay, inter-countries, we'll go, Indonesia, Singapore. Okay, right now we have Australia, right? In Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and then I'm waiting for Indonesia to come and work with me together so that we can drive Walking Football for Health as one of the sport for the Asian Journal of Sport for Development and Peace, right? And then again, I was mentioning to you about obesity, right? Okay, I just want to share very quickly with you that I've also conducted Fed to Fit Asia on RTM Television 1. It's a 17-episode segment series, okay? But then, all right, okay, and then this has gone to Malaysia, the whole of Malaysia, and then the whole of Singapore as well. All right, the whole of Singapore, that's the media coverage and all that. Okay, but, okay, what I'm trying to tell you is that I am actually looking to collaborate with the students of UP, or even the lecturers, the docent, okay, to build a communities crossing countries empowerment. Okay, if you notice, right, this word crossing, okay, it's not the crossing like you go to country. Okay, we are doing it online, because at the moment I'm doing Fed to Fit Asia online. Okay, so it's virtual, and then they have lost kilograms already. They are now in their 1.5 months into the program. So I'm actually looking forward to perhaps collaborate with everyone in the world to actually drive the obesity numbers down. Okay, so again, this is in anticipation okay, for 6 April 2021. Okay, so again, with all that, with Walking Football for Health, for Fed to Fit Asia, helping to get the communities, the sport developed in communities, to develop the communities as well, all right, to be healthy as well. And then to be, when we have positivity in us, we become more positive in our social cohesion. So of course, we will be more, understanding of everyone, and we'll be happier as a nation, as a community, as a global community. Okay, now. Okay, and then, as I say, all for one and one for all, a community in health movement, empowering people to be active while experiencing COVID measures, right? And then at the same time, this will be still the time to promote sport for development and peace. All right, thank you very much, everyone. I hope okay, I hope that I'm sorry that I think there's a little bit of technical glitch, but I hope everybody get to see my presentation very clearly. All right. So do I stop share right now?
Yes, okay.
Thank you very
Actually, the
much.
time
Thank you
is
very much.
okay.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. So, okay.
Okay.
Yes, I return it to our wonderful MC there.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Didi. That was a very, very grateful presentation for all of us. And I would like to invite a question and answer session. We have already maybe four, but we only have three questions.
Yes.
The first from Charsiwan from FPOKOP. It has been said that sport is very close to health, fitness, brotherhood, and human development as a whole and contribute to world peace. But many countries do not put sport as the priority of development by providing budget and sport facility for their people. How according to your experience? Thank you.
Well, what a very, very good question actually. Yes, you see, okay, we know that sport actually develop positive qualities in people, in individual. And then if the individual is positive, and then when the individual interact with other people more positive, we support each other, and the world becomes a better place. And yet, right, the fundings from certain countries, right, they don't want to put a lot into sports. So this is the part where we, okay, yourself, myself, everyone in this seminar, okay, we and also because that's why we have Asian Journal of Sport for Development and Peace. Yeah, you see,
Yes.
because we need to drive the message, and that's where myself, okay, with my experience and also my good networking in media as well. Okay, incidentally, just now I did the COVID, right? The sports during COVID, the safety for exercise and all that is actually from Channel News Asia. Okay, and and then me and them, we are working very, very closely in order to drive the message of sports for development. Okay, and then of course for peace. So I think one of the thing is, sometimes some countries, they don't see, perhaps, they have other things that's more important for them. Perhaps, when we're talking about the third world countries, right, it is like things like, the food and all that. Okay, so of course humanitarian will be given more emphasis, but okay, that's where, like the project air, in Africa, whereby they use yoga, okay, to actually help the HIV positive people.
Yes.
You see, so again, even in third world countries, okay, and of course more so in developed nations, all right, we need to push the message of sport for health and sport for fitness and sport for the community, because we need to do our part as well as the individual and as a community. And that's where I said, the media will need to do a lot more. And myself, as I say, from the media, I will continuously support you guys, all right, particularly the Asian Journal of Sport for Development and Peace, okay, to
Okay, thank you
move
so
this
much.
movement. Right. Yes.
Okay, I think the answer is very, very clearly from you. And we have another question from Zaki Waluya. And she said, how do you raise awareness about sport in the community, especially for people in developing countries like Indonesia, to understand how important the role of sport is to maintain a healthy body?
Okay, can you repeat the second part of your questions? I can't hear you.
Okay, to understand how important the role of sport to maintain a healthy body.
Okay. All right. See, now this is where I'm talking to all of us students. Okay. I'm not only talking about the students that's in the universities now. I'm also talking about us, even docent, because we are lifelong learners, right? Lifelong
Yes.
Students.
Yes.
Right, we keep on learning and learning and learning. Things are changing every time. Okay, so I'm appealing, I'm asking every one of us, okay, when we talk about, okay, how I started this, I give you an example how I started this walking football for health. All right, in Singapore, in Australia, not much is known about walking football for health. All right, and then when I came, when I approached the media, and then they push it out in the media, the Berita Harian, only 10 ladies come in because why? Because the men don't want to play walking football. They think
Yes.
it's not macho sport. Right? Okay,
Okay.
but now, because from 2017, okay, not only have I get the woman, okay, this is where we come in as, we call our family first. That's how we call our family. Their families call their families, and then we call our friends. Okay, one friend bring another friend. Okay, the other friend bring another friend, and then after that you multiply. That's how I started. Okay, and then right now, okay, even the man wants to come into walking football for health. Why? Okay, and then I even send them to London, okay, for the walking football. And now, okay, the next year or so, depending on the COVID, okay, we are actually waiting for COVID to be lifted, that we actually will do the walking football for health World Cup in Australia. So what happens now? Even the men, okay, even the men as young as 18, 20, 30 is joining walking football for health. Why? Because this is what they do. On Sunday, they play walking football for health.
Okay.
All right. On Saturday, they play running football. See, and then they notice that when they play running football, they run better. Because you know why? The walking football for health becomes like a rehab for them. You see,
Yeah.
so they improve their fitness and all that. Again, you see, that's how you get all the men in. So again, you can actually target, a family. Okay, when we're talking about family, okay, bila bicara tentang sepak bola kan, selalu yang main selalu abang-abang kan, mas-mas kan? Ya
Yes.
kan? Okey, jadi kalau mas-masnya bawa yang sudah berumah tangga ya, bawa anak-anak juga dan isteri juga. Okay, that becomes a community sport, isn't it? That becomes a family sport. So that's how we multiply it. In even countries like Indonesia specifically. Yeah.
Okay, what's a great idea from you. Okay.
Because last year I went to UPI and I actually showed walking football. So I think the next time, if COVID is not there anymore, okay, when
Correct.
the borders are open, I want to see walking football. Even right now, we develop walking football, even
Okay.
virtual online.
All right. We hope we can do this together, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now we have last question from we have Gusti Sabda. That raise hand, Gusti Sabda will like to invite you to deliver your question directly to Miss Didi. Please, Gusti Sabda.
Okay, thank you so much for Master of Ceremony. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon, Prof. Didi.
Good afternoon, Gusti.
Thank you so much. I think it is very awesome presentation from you. And my question is, for the successful sports development and peace in some countries, especially our developing countries like Indonesia, how many sports scientists or physical education scientists involved in making decision in government policy? I think it's very, very effective for sport development. Thank you so much.
Okay, actually, because one of the thing is this. I've been working with many government agencies as well. I think if you Google DEE, all right, and then after you'll come to my blog, and then you will see all the walking football, my profile and all the walking football, and then you notice that I've been working with the government okay, in Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, all right, and again. The government, most of the time, government wants if the project is very beneficial, okay, menguntungkan komunitas, right? If the community is getting healthier, productivity goes up, right? Economy goes up, all right? Because when you're healthier, jika kamu sihat, ya, dengan menggunakan riada ataupun sukan kan, selalunya kita akan sihat dan komunitas yang sihat sebenarnya bila mereka bekerja, mereka dapat bekerja dengan produktiviti yang tinggi. Bila produktiviti tinggi itu akan menjana ekonomi. kan itu ya. Jadi lagi satu juga kita enggak mahu kalau komunitas kita sakit, terutama sekali di masa COVID ini kan. Okey, jadi untuk Walking Football for Health apa yang perlu dilakukan? Okey, mungkin we come together. Okay, we come together online. Okay, online you do coaching. Okay, online. Okay, sports scientists. Okay, that's what I do with my research. Sports scientists in terms of coaches, in terms of assessment, physical fitness assessment. So before what they do, the Walking Football for Health participants, before they start, they have fitness tests, and then we teach them the skills, and then we do fitness with them, and then after that, 3 months, 6 months, we do fitness testing as well, and then that's the data we churn out for our scientific researchers and all that. And all this data is very important, right? Because it makes us know, okay, what works and what doesn't, right? So that you can design your next program better. So again, right now in UP as well, right? Because with the students and all that, you get together. Number one, you need to form groups to actually get the community to do together with you. And then after that, because you are sports science students and all that, that's where you collect data. And then that's where you get your docent together. All right. And then after that, they can crunch the data. And then myself, I will be more than happy to help. And then we can churn out a comparison data as well. And then I could give, we could come together and then give a support system to the whole of the communities in Indonesia, to move this forward. And again, like I say, government loves it when a movement, all right, sport for development movement is moving the community towards health. That's what they like. All right, but you need to show them that, okay, this has worked in, I've done Australia, I've done Singapore, I've done Malaysia. This has worked in Singapore, Australia, Malaysia. So, okay, Indonesia, come on board, okay, because all the infrastructure is there. Infrastructure sudah ada. Jadi sesiapa yang di Indonesia kalau mau kan kita bergabung sama dan teruskan sebagai mungkin a sport, maybe for the next event for the Asian Journal of Sport for Development and Peace. Something that the Asian Journal of Sport for Development and Peace to support as well. With regards to community health. That's my answer. Gusti, did I answer you?
Gusti? Okay, I think that's a clear, very, very clear from Gusti. Okay, Miss Didi, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation and the explanation. You provide a lot of new knowledge and new views about sport as sport for development and peace, which is also in line with the theme of the seminar. The sports is not only about the sport itself, but more to individuals and community. All right, thank you so much, Miss Didi, and thank you to all participants. And we will back to the master ceremony. Please, Miss Syarifatunisa.
Okay, thank you, Miss Anira. And also thank you to all the keynote speakers who gave their presentation today. For such a great presentation, may we all get new knowledge. And this is the end of today's seminar. We will meet again tomorrow for a presentation from Prof. Amung and then Dr. Agus Mahendra, and followed by a final session. And thank you very much for participating today, and see you tomorrow. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Anissa.
Halo, sukses.
Mana? Absen di mana?
Assalamualaikum.
Kang Dadi ngalamun wae